واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا.
يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. لك الحمد بجميع محامدك كلها، ما علمنا منها وما لم نعلم، على نعمك كلها ظاهرة وباطنة. اللهم كما أنعمت فأدم وزدنا من نعمك واجعلنا من الشاكرين. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله الملك الحق المبين، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله، أرسله رحمة للعالمين وهدى وبشرى للمحسنين، فبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. وصل اللهم عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهديه واتبع سنته واقتفى أثره بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، قد روى البخاري وأبو داود وابن ماجه والإمام أحمد وغيرهم عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال: لا تحاسدوا ولا تباغضوا ولا تدابروا وكونوا عباد الله إخوانا. It's been narrated in Bukhari and Abu Dawood and Ibn Majah and Musnad Ahmad and others that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not envy one another and do not turn away from one another and do not hate one another, and be, O servants of Allah, brothers. And this very time is the Christmas time, whether you like it or not. So the message around us is the message of love. And we always tend to shun away sometimes, probably many times, from talking about love in Islam. In fact, if you want to address the topic of love, it's one of the pillars of Iman, love. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهِ. If you really claim that you love Allah, so فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهِ. Follow me, i.e. the Prophet. Allah will love you. So the message from Allah Azza wa Jal is very clear. It's a message of love. And you will not be admitted to Jannah if you do not love Allah and His Messenger. So it is one of the pillars of Iman to love. And as well, it's not just loving Allah and His Messenger. It's loving those who love Allah and His Messenger as well. A man came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, on the day of judgment, you will be in the highest ranks in Jannah, and we will be not in that position. So I'll be so sad if I could not see you. And the Prophet ﷺ said to that man, you are with those whom you love. So if you love Allah and His Messenger, you will be with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if we were to dig deep in the Quran and in the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, we see that there are plenty of narrations, plenty of verses talking about the importance of creating a loving and caring and peaceful community. The hadith which I started with is one of these pillars. Do not envy one another, because it creates hatred. And do not shun away and turn away from one another. It means you do the opposite. Come closer to your brother. Don't envy your brother. Don't hate your brother. Don't spy on your brother. And it's a long list. Many of these narrations and many of these rulings, we can see it's directing us towards the best conduct. The beauty of Islam, it teaches us how to connect with Allah Azza wa Jal in the first place, and how to communicate with one another in the best possible way. In order to worship Allah, you need to know the revelation. You cannot invent and create your own mode of worship. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent prophets and messengers to teach people how to worship. And it's across the board. It's not an Islamic thing. It's in all religions which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to humanity. They do share these common things. And one of these things which they share as well, respect of human life. Even in the 10 Commandments, you see Commandments number 6, you shall not murder. In the Quran, we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited killing. So across the board, we respect human life. We respect human dignity. And this is why we've been commanded to live in a very peaceful way, in a very merciful way. And in fact, the whole Islamic message is about mercy. If I've asked you to summarize the Islamic message in one word, you can easily say it's the message of mercy. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We've sent you as a mercy for all the worlds. The worlds of humans, the worlds of jinn, the worlds which is beyond. And accordingly, we can see the direction of the Quranic verses, the direction of the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you were to put it together, you can see always it's about channelizing people's behavior towards the best. We talk about conflict resolution. We've already catered for this in our teachings. Do not envy one another. Do not hate one another. Do not turn away from one another. Don't spy on one another. Don't do hatred towards your brothers and sisters, and so on and so forth. So you have some rulings related to deterrent and some rulings related to encouragement. So if you were to do this, this will foster love amongst you. If you were to do that, this will minimize conflicts amongst you. Plenty of narrations. For instance, another man came to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, "O Messenger of Allah, you see that man who's passing by?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Be witness, I love him for Allah's sake." And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Have you informed him?" He said, "No." He said, "Go and inform him, because this will foster love amongst you." In another narration, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Tahadaw tahabbu." Exchange gifts. It will foster love amongst you. And down this line we have, again, plenty of narrations. So you can see that the verses of the Quran and the narrations in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, all about creating peace and harmony and love in our community. Probably you might ask this very valid question: is it just an exclusive club for the Muslims, that they should just love one another, they should not hate one another, they should deal with fairness with one another? What about the bigger community? Is it not a message for humanity or just for Muslims? We have some views amongst the Muslim scholars and the Muslim leaders and the Muslim imams that it is just an exclusive thing for the Muslims. But if you were to look at the bigger picture and check the prophetic model in dealing with people around him, regardless of the religion, we see that he was, alayhi salatu wassalam, and he is the symbol of fostering love, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. None of you believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. You are very familiar with this narration. I'll add to your knowledge another narration. In Muslim Imam Ahmad, the Prophet ﷺ said, "None of you believes until he loves for people what he loves for himself." So excuse me, that it's not an exclusive thing for Muslims. How come you will be communicating and delivering the message to people whom you hate? I understand there's a fine line between loving the person and loving the goodness to be delivered to the person. Clear. But sometimes, because we cannot see this distinction, we just paint it in the same brush. And all wrong, it should be in a different category. No. The Prophet ﷺ, in many verses in the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jalla was telling him to calm down. Don't be so upset. Don't be so sad because they did not accept the message. He was so keen to deliver the message to Allah Azza wa Jalla. So he has this love in his heart towards the others to open the way, to pave it for them, to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this stems from love. It cannot stem from hatred. You won't offer somebody whom you hate something which you love. Can you? Definitely not. Then you have to love goodness for others, as the Prophet ﷺ said. Your belief will not be accomplished until you love for people what you love for yourself. We love Iman, then we should love Iman for others as well. So the concept of love is so important, because it's not, again, something, an exclusive thing for a particular religion or particular group. We Muslims definitely love goodness for others as we love goodness for ourselves. Unfortunately, this message is not very clear among some people. It's been clouded for many reasons. Probably the reason number one is the historical context. Colonialism, war, this, that, and the other made people live with hatred. I'm not discussing this is right or wrong. I'm just discussing the issue of how did it start? This concept of hatred instead of concept of love. Reason number two, still ongoing, the foreign policy for a country, whether it's our country or another country. Reason number three, oppression, which is probably enveloping all the rest of the reasons. Oppression creates hatred. How to foster love? Do the opposite. Justice, fairness. This is what will foster love amongst people. As long as you promote injustice, as long as you create oppression, as long as this will foster hatred instead of love. And the consequences of fostering hatred, we've seen a couple of weeks ago, the report which being produced by the task force from the government regarding terrorism and extremism. It has many flaws, of course, but one of the main things in that report, although it's not based on very accurate studies, some incidents were fine, but it's not very accurate, it's not been analyzed in the proper manner. One of the annoying things in that report, that it started defining who is the right Muslim or the good Muslim and who is the bad Muslim, as if this is the government's mission to define who's the right Christian and who's the bad Christian, who's the right Jew, who's the bad Jew, who's the right Muslim, who's the wrong Muslim. With my respect, this is not your job. You do not overcross these boundaries. So again, are we delivering the message of love in this direction? I don't think so. When you cross these boundaries, which is not your territory of expertise, then you are fostering, with my respect, the message of hatred and oppression in our community. So we need to understand how we should object on these reports and raise our voices and our concerns. Of course, we are the community of love, community of mercy, community of justice, but we need to make our voices louder and our concerns projected in the right manner. So I advise everyone to have a look on that report. We have circulated as well amongst our network some comments and the flaws which are in this report. And it concerns us because accordingly, new regulations, new restrictions will be in place. So we shouldn't just say, this is not my business. No, it is my business actually, because it concerns me as a Muslim, it concerns me as a Muslim community as well. We know that we have some people should be admitted to psychiatric wards, some crazy people, but it's not an exclusive thing. In every community you have crazy people. Why, when it comes to Muslims, it's a big issue. Well, if it's in another community, yes, that's fine. It's a minor thing. That person who burnt the house with the Muslim family, it's all right. It's a minor issue. That person who burnt the mosque, it's a minor issue. Imagine if it was a Muslim who burnt a church. Just imagine. That Muslim doctor who passed away, rahimahullah, in Syria, it's a minor issue. Imagine if he was a Jew doctor. Would it be the same? Definitely not. Are we then sending the message of love? Are we fostering the message of love in our community? Unfortunately, no. We are not. And my advice to our government that they should be more careful whom to select amongst their Muslim advisors, who is advising them on the Islamic issues. What is their qualification? What is their background? Are they really qualified even to give you an advice in Islamic issues? To be honest with you, I didn't come across any qualified person who's advising them on the Islamic issues. And how come you deliver something very serious related to the lives of the people in this country without being so serious in selecting the right advisors? What kind of message you want to deliver? This is not acceptable. Again, we need a good, authentic representation in our government. This is our right, and we have to ask for it. Unless we raise our voices, no one can give it to you. So enough is enough. We need the right representation. Not because X and Y knows this person, he's been labeled as an Islamic expert, or he has written a paper, or he has written an article on Islamic issues, he becomes now the Islamic expert. No, we need the right representation because it's a serious matter. We do not want to put our community in hardships anymore. So the message of love starting from our side to our government. You need to correct your direction and your selection. We need justice and fairness, no oppression anymore, because this will create a troubled community with hatred, which will foster more hatred. If you are after fostering love, then you need to correct it quickly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us wisdom and the strength to fight towards achieving the truth. Ameen. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى وآله وصحبه ومن بعهده وفى. اللهم يا رب يا رحمن يا بديع السماوات والأرض يا ذا الجلال والإكرام، اللهم اغفر لنا وقدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم به منا مولانا رب العالمين. فرج الكرب عن المكروبين ونفس الهم عن المهمومين. فرج عن إخواننا في سوريا يا رب العالمين. فرج عن إخواننا في مصر يا رب العالمين، في فلسطين وفي العراق وفي تونس. وفرج عن إخواننا في أفغانستان، وفرج عن إخواننا في ليبيا، وفرج عن إخواننا في كل مكان حيث فيه ظلم يا الله. اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولعلمائنا ولمن علمنا ولمن له حق علينا. صلي وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.